Good morning, everybody. It is a bit damp out there, but I can see the square being prepared for some cricket, and hopefully that will happen. And it certainly ends a very busy week, and indeed weekend. I know the borders were busy out. There was a chess rehearsal yesterday, very aware of that because I was at it. But also Year 10 Bronze DV out and lots of sport. We've had matches going on over the last week in tennis, netball, cricket and sailing. I can't do justice to all those sport fixtures now, although hopefully the newsletter that your parents get captures some of the vast amount of sport that's going on at the moment. But it was good to hear back that some netball games have been taking place. Unusual to have netball this term, but really good to keep the netball going over this off-season when we couldn't get enough played last term. And the under-12s, 13s, 14s and 15s all managed to play against Portsmouth High and St John's last week. Well done, the under-15s and 14s who scraped to win, but it's just good to know that netball season that hopefully we'll have next year in full is well prepared for. And well done also to the under-15 A team in tennis, where the boys played PGS's A team as well and got a draw there. Ed White and Harry Alton playing hard, but particularly Ed Bayliss and Gervais Lee winning their rubbers convincingly 6-2, 6-2 in tennis. So some good stuff there. And also it was good to see the Year 8 out doing some racing on Friday against Westhill Park and the junior school. In fact, lots of races, lots of boats. And I know that the Year 8 have not had a massive amount of time to practice their sailing competitively. Good for the school that the Year 6 team with Ben Anderson did particularly well in that regatta on Friday. But again, good to see you all getting out and getting some sport taking place. And of course, there was lots of cricket going on over the weekend, and indeed previously in the week. A very easy win. I was able to see quite a bit of that game for the under-13s against York House on Saturday morning. Some tighter games against PGS. The under-12As on the wrong side, losing by 52 runs, although some good fielding there from Mr. Eilett's report, and a close loss for a combined boys-girls team against PGS's B team as well. The Firsts had a very frustrating finish to their game. Some of us were watching that match earlier in the week. Very close game, went right down to the last over. But then we did lose that last over. But I think a lot of good lessons there in how to play a long game of cricket, and some really good highlights in it, and some very good play. Similarly with the under-15 A girls cricket, a loss there, but a good match, and actually I think only 30 runs between the two teams. So lots of good cricket, but more importantly lots of sport. And I was particularly pleased actually to get an email from Mr. Comben last night. And I'll just quote him directly actually. There can be no better antidote to a year of lockdown and restriction than spending a weekend out and about in the fresh air on the island and without a face mask in sight. Hear, hear. The pupils worked wonderfully well, especially when we consider they were unable to complete the practice expedition. Teams did not allow the rain to dampen their spirits, although they looked especially relieved to get to Carisbrooke Castle on Sunday. Mr. Comben ends by saying that all people there, the staff, the assessors and indeed members of the public, agreed how good it was to see everyone completing Dear V. A reminder that the legacy of the Duke of Edinburgh continues at the school and in the country, but also the importance of getting out there and challenging ourselves and keeping healthy and outdoors. There's a little message actually from Mr. Comben at the bottom to remind students to return their kit to the stores at lunchtime. So that's been a great week. We look forward to more over the next 2 weeks. Sports Day on Thursday, chess on Sunday and Monday, the MCC match tomorrow. Though all of these a little bit weather dependent, I fear that possibly the weather is going to be a bigger challenge to us at the moment than COVID. But we'll cross our fingers, and as the DAV people showed, we can't let a bit of rain get us down. So fingers crossed the majority of those events can carry on as planned. It is worth just saying to you as we get into these last 2 weeks, 10 school days to the end of term. If you look at the reports, it's clear that now the link between COVID infections and death rates and hospital rates has been broken through the vaccination programme, but obviously the vast majority of you have not been vaccinated. And that's why now, when we look at the statistics of COVID, clearly it is in schools where the transmission is really happening, not because it's particularly problematic in schools, but because it's just not happening anywhere else. And because of the testing system and having to isolate, I read a figure last week which said that something like 1 in 10 pupils were having to isolate at the moment from school. And I think it's just worth us remembering that as we go into these last 2 weeks, because we've got lots of good things planned. You know, we've got chess. We've finally got a musical that we are hoping to get out there at the weekend, getting the musicians and the actors on stage. We've got all sorts of activities planned next week. We've got, as I mentioned already, Sports Day and more sports fixtures coming up. And it would just be really sad, I think, to feel that in this final few days of this term, we can't do all those things. And the biggest risk for us will be if COVID gets into school and then we have to start sending bubbles home. And if you think about what that means for you, isolating, that could mean not just isolating for our time at school, but also isolating a little bit into the holidays as well, when you'll be wanting to get out and enjoy yourself. But there is a risk still. And it's a risk that's probably becoming even more pronounced to us here on the island as people come and travel from all over the UK to the island at weekends. It's great for us as an island in terms of tourism and the economy and so on, but it does put an extra risk to us, particularly when people can't travel overseas. And so the reason I'm mentioning all that is I just would ask you all to just not completely relax in terms of your good sense on 2 things in particular: sticking to these bubbles where we can, and we've had to relax them a little bit in some areas, for example with the cricket and with the play. So therefore it's even more important that we stick to the bubbles and that we maintain our social distancing. So do think about it, that if you can just keep that little bit of distance with people, if you can predominantly see people outside, not inside, and if you keep everywhere where you are aerated, then A, the chance of the spread happening is reduced, but also if we do have a case in school, the number of people that I will have to send home will be much lower if we've been sensible on our social distancing and our maintaining of bubbles. So I say that much more to say this is a really good way of doing all the things we want to do. We are unusual as a school in being able to have proms for the sixth form, D of E going out, matches still taking place, sports days and school concerts planned, and there are very few schools able to do that. And it would be a great pity if just because we just lose our guide and our care in the next couple of weeks that we lose that. So just all remember that. I'm speaking this morning with a bit of a sore throat. I've had it for a few days. I made a point, therefore, of testing myself each day just to make sure that, as I'm almost certain it is, it's a sore throat, nothing to do with COVID. So you will have at this time of year summer colds and sneezy noses and a bit of hay fever and so on. But don't just presume that it's hay fever or a sore throat. And the way you can do that is by making sure that you continue to test. And if you do test, keep away from school while we get a PCR test and check on that. That's all to say. I'm going to hand over now to actually the last assembly of a series of assemblies that have been scattered throughout this last few months when we've looked at different world religions and how they apply particularly to Britain today. We've heard about Islam, we've heard about Judaism, we've heard about Catholicism and Christianity, and we've had a talk on humanism. And today we're going to look at Hinduism. And I'm actually very pleased to say that this is a video that's been made for us by a former pupil who left us last year at the end of year 11, Dhruv. So he's going to kick us off with talking a little bit about Hinduism and then get some other people to help contribute. And I hope this gives you an idea of another major world religion, but perhaps one that isn't spoken about as much as we might expect in the UK.
Namaste. Today we will be talking about Hinduism, the oldest religion in the world. It originated around 3000 BCE in the Indus Valley civilization. Although it is a religion, it is also a philosophy and a way of living. Up to 15% of the world is a Hindu. Mahatma Gandhi, someone famous for Indian independence from the British Empire through non-violent and peaceful means, was also a devout Hindu. Hinduism believes in one God, but many avatars of the same God. These avatars allow people to better connect to this god. For example, they might see God as a mother, a friend, a teacher, and so on. Hinduism also mixes in with atheism by encouraging people to be the best version of themselves, no matter what this might be. This is written in the religious scriptures, which are known as Vedas. Hinduism also believes in recognizing one's higher self. They call it Atman, an entity inside of oneself. Tat Vam Asi means thou art that. This is another Hindu ideology, and it means one is already what one seeks to become. One must only realize it. Thank you. Namaste. Now you're going to see some short clips by people all around the world who will explain to you what it means to them to be a Hindu.
Hello everyone, I am Likita. I live in India. My favorite goddess is Saraswati. Saraswati, the Hindu goddess of knowledge, music, art, and wisdom. She is often seen to be seated on a white lotus, the flower offered to her during prayers. She neither wears jewels or paints herself with bright colors. The white sari she wears reflects her purity. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rohan and I live all the way in the United States. And one of my favorite Hindu gods is Ganesh. And some reasons why I like him is because he has such a fascinating story about how he came to be. And then the other reason is because we get to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi, one of the most famous Indian festivals in India. It is celebrated with a lot of devotion. Ganesha is a god of prosperity and wisdom. For this festival, you would make a clay version of Ganesha and worship it for 5 days. On the 5th day, we would immerse it in water. During the festival, we would chant Ganpati Bappa Moria.
Hi, this is Om. I'm from Bangalore, India. My favorite god is Krishna. Do you know why? Krishna is a god of joy, leadership, and love, and his teachings will help us in handling any problem of our life. He was been into the world over the ages in many forms with many names, but always for the same purpose, to remind us what we've forgotten in our own true spiritual nature. Jai Shri Krishna.
My name is Anusha Hiramat. I am from Sunnyvale, California. My favorite god is Krishna because he is clever in solving problems. He is also very good at the flute and is mischievous in a good way.
Namaskara. Hello, I am Sammy. I live in Brisbane, which is in Australia. Today I'm going to be talking about Mata Sita. She is a Hindu goddess, and you can learn all about her in Ramayana. She is a mother goddess. She is goddess of sacrifice, love, and simplicity.
Namaskar. I am Riri and I'm Sammy's sister and I'm going to talk about Ma Durga. She is a very important goddess for Hindus. She is mother goddess, goddess of strength and protection. She fights to protect people and peace and love. Have a good day.
I love Hindu festivals because of the food. Mmm. Mmm. So that right there was puri in Shrikand. Delicious.
I like Hindu festivals because I like to get dressed up.
Namaste. There are several ways of connecting to God in Hinduism. The ritual of offering prayers to God is called puja. This can be done at home or by visiting a temple. The purpose of it is spiritual awakening and to find calm and peace in oneself. Offering prayers to God by singing and dancing has been an age-old custom in India. Hence, when you visit the temples in India, you can see beautiful sculptures of musicians and dancers carved on the walls. Next, you'll be seeing a clip of a puja done at home, a person visiting a temple in India, and at the end, you're going to see a dance offering to Goddess. Namaste.
Hi, so I'm going to Hindu temple.
Padmapriyam, Padmahastam, Padmakshim, Padmasundarim, Padmodbhavam, Padmamukhim, Padmanabha.